These photos scared the entire world. 50 photos that scientists can't explain. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. But what if no one can explain what they're seeing? These real photographs have puzzled experts, haunted eyewitnesses, and sparked theories of time travel, ghosts, and alien life. Get ready to explore the images that challenge everything we think we know. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most chilling mysteries of the 20th century. In 1959, 9 skilled hikers set out into Russia's Ural Mountains and never returned alive. When rescuers found their bodies, many were scattered across the snowy terrain, some barely clothed, others with horrifying internal injuries. Their tent had been ripped open from the inside. Even more haunting, their own photographs. One image shows a shadowy figure deep in the trees, nicknamed the Yeti shot. Another captures a glowing orb or strange light streaking across the night sky. Were they stalked? Scared by something? No one really knows. The Phoenix Lights. On the evening of March 13, 1997, the skies over Arizona lit up with something that would become one of the most talked about UFO events in history, the Phoenix Lights. Thousands of witnesses across multiple cities reported seeing a massive, silent object gliding overhead. Some described it as a saucer. Others saw a V-shaped formation with glowing orbs stretching across the horizon. The object moved slowly and eerily before vanishing into the night. Even Arizona's then-governor Fife Symington later admitted he saw it and criticized the government's lack of response. The Air Force claimed the lights were just flares from a training mission, but countless eyewitnesses remain unconvinced. To this day, no one can agree on what really flew over Phoenix that night. The Stone Spheres of Costa Rica. Tucked away in the dense rainforests of Costa Rica lies one of the most baffling archaeological mysteries ever discovered. The Stone Spheres of the Decode Delta. More than 300 of these perfectly rounded stones have been found, some no larger than a baseball, while others weigh several tons and span over 2 meters in diameter. What truly stuns scientists isn't just their shape, but their precision. These massive orbs were carved from granodiorite, an incredibly hard rock, using no metal tools. At least none we've found. How ancient civilizations achieved such perfection remains one of history's most jaw-dropping enigmas. Creature of the Cave. In the 1990s, a group of tourists exploring a cave in Ras Lima, UAE, captured a photograph that still sends chills down spines. In the dim light, a strange figure appears, partly obscured by shadows. Not quite human, and not easily explained. Moments after the photo was taken, the cave echoed with the terrifying scream of a young boy. Authorities later arrived and, during their search, discovered a body hidden deep within a narrow recess. No one could link the scream, the body, and the figure with certainty, but the photo raised haunting questions. Was it an undiscovered creature? A trick of the light? Or something much darker? Decades later, the mystery remains unsolved and unsettling. The Patterson-Gimlin film. The Patterson-Gimlin film, shot in 1967 in the wilds of Northern California, remains one of the most debated clips in cryptozoology. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin claim to have captured footage of a tall, ape-like creature, what many believe to be Bigfoot, casually striding through a forest clearing. The figure's size, muscle movement, and gait have led some researchers to insist it's not a human in a costume, but an unidentified primate species. Critics, however, argue it's an elaborate hoax. Still, over 50 years later, no one has definitively proved either side. The mystery keeps this grainy footage alive in legend and in endless speculation. The construction of the Eiffel Tower. This remarkable 1887 photograph captures the Eiffel Tower rising from the ground, a moment in time when one of the world's most iconic landmarks was still just an ambitious project. Built for the 1889 Paris Exposition, it took just over 2 years to complete and stunned the world as the tallest man-made structure at the time. Composed of 18,000 individual iron parts and held together by 2.5 million rivets, The entire tower was assembled piece by hand. It was an engineering marvel then, and it still inspires awe today. This photo doesn't just show steel and scaffolding, it shows history in the making. The Ubaid lizard figurines. Among archaeology's most baffling finds are the Ubaid lizard figurines, unearthed in Iraq at the ancient site of Al-Ubaid. These strange terracotta figures date back as far as 5000 BCE, well before the rise of the Sumerians. But it's not just their age that stuns historians. The figures have reptilian features, long, sloped heads, slanted eyes, and textured, scale-like skin. Even more bizarre, they're often shown in familiar human roles, cradling infants, sitting in regal postures, or holding staffs. Were they gods, symbols of power, or depictions of something even stranger? To this day, no one can fully explain who or what they represent. Nina Kulagina. In the shadowy scientific world of 1960s Soviet Russia, Nina Kulagina emerged as a figure of both fascination and controversy. Claiming to possess psychokinetic powers, the ability to move objects using only her mind, Kulagina was closely studied by Soviet scientists behind closed doors. In controlled lab environments, she was filmed shifting small items, stopping pendulums, and even influencing heart rates, all without touching a thing. These secret recordings left researchers stunned. While skeptics have long argued her feats were clever sleight of hand, no one has ever fully replicated her demonstrations. Was she a master of deception or living proof of powers science has yet to explain? Kulagina's legacy still stirs curiosity and debate to this day. The Hook Island Sea Monster. In the summer of 1964, vacationer Robert Le Sirec snapped a photograph that would go on to stir decades of debate. While exploring the waters of Stonehaven Bay near Hook Island, Australia, he captured what appeared to be a massive tadpole-like creature lurking just beneath the surface. The dark, snake-like body seemed to stretch an astonishing 20 to 25 meters, with a clear head, large eyes, and rippling curves trailing behind it. Was it a prehistoric survivor like a plesiosaur? A massive unknown eel or ray? Or just an elaborate hoax using a tarp or plastic sheet? No one knows for sure, but the photo remains one of the most captivating sea monster sightings in cryptozoology history, the Apollo 14 lunar lights. During NASA's 1971 Apollo 14 mission, something strange appeared on the moon, something even the astronauts couldn't explain. In several official photographs taken on the lunar surface, glowing lights can be seen hovering along the horizon. What's eerie is that the lights seem to shift positions between frames, yet they're not lens flares or camera glitches. Astronauts Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell confirmed they saw the lights with their own eyes, ruling out photographic error. Theories range from sunlight reflecting off unusual lunar minerals to electrostatic discharges or gas escaping from beneath the moon's surface. But none account for the lights' fixed shapes and sharp outlines. To this day, the Apollo 14 lunar lights remain an unsolved mystery, one that suggests the moon might still be hiding secrets in plain sight. Which photo do you think is the most convincing evidence of the paranormal or time travel, and why? The fairy circles of Namibia. Scattered across the Namib Desert, the mysterious fairy circles of Namibia have puzzled scientists and amazed travelers for decades. These circular patches of barren earth, ringed by short grasses, stretch across the landscape like nature's own polka dots. From above, they form an eerie honeycomb pattern, some small, others up to 15 meters wide. Locals say they're footprints of the gods or the work of spirits. But researchers offer more grounded theories: underground termites, plant self-organization, toxic gases, or even ancient radiation. Yet despite all the studies, no one has definitively solved the riddle of these perfectly barren circles in the sand. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is perhaps the most baffling book ever uncovered. Found in 1912 by a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich, this 15th century volume is written in a script no one, no matter how brilliant, has been able to decode. Its pages are packed with strange, looping letters, fantastical illustrations of plants that don't exist, and puzzling diagrams that seem astrological or scientific, yet match no known system. Some think it's a lost medical guide, others say it's a book of magic or coded knowledge. A few even believe it's an elaborate hoax. Whatever its origin, the mystery remains unsolved and endlessly fascinating. The Piri Reis Map. The Piri Reis Map, drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral of the same name, continues to baffle experts more than 500 years later. This ancient chart remarkably outlines parts of Europe, North Africa, the Atlantic, and even South America, with surprising precision. But what truly stirs curiosity is its depiction of Antarctica, long before it was officially discovered. Even more incredible? The continent is drawn as if it were free of ice, which scientists believe hasn't been the case for over 6,000 years. How could a 16th century mapmaker have such knowledge? Some say he used now-lost ancient sources. Others think it's coincidence or error. Either way, the map remains a mystery that defies easy explanation. The Nazca Lines. Stretching across the arid plains of southern Peru, the Nazca Lines are one of the world's greatest ancient mysteries. Created nearly 2,000 years ago by the Nazca civilization, these enormous geoglyphs, depicting hummingbirds, monkeys, spiders, and geometric shapes, can only be seen in their full glory from high above. That's what makes them so puzzling. The Nazca had no known way of viewing their work from the sky, yet the designs are incredibly precise and massive, some spanning hundreds of feet. Were they religious offerings, astronomical markers, or perhaps maps to water sources? No one knows for sure. Even more bizarre are theories claiming they were created for aliens or served as a celestial calendar. Whatever their true purpose, the Nazca Lines continue to spark awe and endless speculation. The Babushka Lady. Amid the chaos of President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963, one mysterious woman stood out, now famously known as the Babushka Lady. Seen in multiple photos and videos near Dealey Plaza, she appeared calm, filming the motorcade just moments before and after the fatal shots rang out. Dressed in a trench coat and wearing a headscarf similar to those worn by Russian women, she earned her nickname from her unusual appearance. Despite being close to the action, her identity has never been confirmed, and no footage from her camera has ever been found. Was she unaware of what she captured or too afraid to come forward? Some even suspect she was part of a larger conspiracy. Decades later, the Babushka Lady remains one of the most elusive and haunting figures tied to America's most infamous unsolved assassination. The time-traveling hipster. When a 1941 photo of a crowd at the reopening of South Fork Bridge in British Columbia resurfaced in 2010, the internet lit up. Standing among a sea of fedoras and formal coats was one man who looked wildly out of place. Sporting a printed t-shirt, a zip-up hoodie, sunglasses, and what seemed to be a compact camera slung across his chest. He instantly earned the nickname, the time-traveling hipster. Historians argue that each item could have existed at the time, but his overall look just doesn't fit the era. Was he a fashion-forward outlier or proof of time travel? The debate still rages on. The Ghost of Hampton Court. In 2003, Hampton Court Palace, already infamous for centuries of ghost stories, delivered something chilling: CCTV footage of what appeared to be a ghost. In the clip, a mysterious figure in a long, flowing robe is seen emerging from a doorway, closing it behind them with eerie precision. Security staff were baffled. The technician who reviewed the footage confirmed there was no sign of tampering or technical malfunction. Built in 1529 for King Henry VIII, the palace has long been rumored to house the spirits of his ill-fated wives. Some skeptics claimed it was just a trick of the light, but the figure's distinct, human-like movement still defies explanation. This ghostly video is now one of the most compelling modern cases of paranormal activity in a royal setting. The Madonna with St. Giovannino UFO. In the 15th century painting, the Madonna with St. Giovannino, attributed to Domenico Ghirlandaio, There's a detail that continues to baffle viewers centuries later. While the focus is on the serene image of the Virgin Mary with the infant John the Baptist, something unusual floats in the sky behind her, an illuminated, disc-shaped object. Even stranger, a man and his dog seem to be staring straight at it. Some believe it's a hidden message about extraterrestrial visitors, citing the object's classic UFO shape and glow. Art historians, however, argue it's likely a symbolic depiction, perhaps an angel or the Star of Bethlehem. Still, the mysterious object keeps the painting at the center of countless debates about ancient alien theories and hidden messages in Renaissance art. The Cooper family photo. Snapped in the 1950s, what was meant to be a simple family portrait turned into one of the eeriest photos ever taken. The Cooper family had just moved into their new Texas home and decided to mark the occasion with a photograph. But when the film was developed, they were shocked to see a dark, shadowy figure hanging upside down behind them, seemingly suspended in midair. No one had seen anything unusual at the time. Was it a ghost? A photographic glitch? Some suggest it was a double exposure, while others believe it's one of the most convincing images of an apparition ever caught on film. Decades later, the origin of the mysterious figure remains unsolved, keeping both believers and skeptics intrigued. The Billy the Kid croquet photo. Imagine finding a $2 photo that could be worth millions. That's exactly what happened in 2010, when a tintype image surfaced, claiming to show the notorious outlaw Billy the Kid casually playing croquet with his gang, the Regulators. If real, it would be only the second verified photo of Billy the Kid, making it a historic treasure. Experts have used facial recognition technology to compare the man in the image with known photos of Billy, finding compelling similarities. But not everyone's convinced. Critics argue the photo's setting, an organized croquet game, seems too refined for a man known more for shootouts than lawn games. Hoax or history? The debate rages on. Thank you for watching. To continue with more content, comment 1 to let us know you're still following. The Levitating Man. Back in the 1920s, a photo emerged that left viewers stunned. It seemed to show a man levitating in midair. The man was Colin Evans, a spiritualist medium famous for conducting seances in pitch darkness. During one such event, a flash camera was triggered, capturing the exact moment Evans appeared to rise above his seat, arms raised as a circle of stunned participants looked on. To believers, it was proof of supernatural power. Skeptics, however, suspect Evans simply jumped while the photo was taken, using the flash to freeze the moment and create the illusion. Real or staged, the image still fuels debate to this day. The 1911 airship. Snapped over Huntington, West Virginia in 1911, this mysterious photo shows an airship that has baffled aviation historians for over a century. The craft appears far more advanced than anything known to exist at that time, featuring a sleek, streamlined body, multiple propellers, and what looks like room for several passengers. But here's the twist. It predates the first Zeppelin-style airships by years, at a time when most flying machines were still clunky balloons or experimental contraptions. This image suggests someone may have built something far ahead of its time. Was it a secret project, a clever hoax, or something even stranger? The truth remains airborne, just out of reach. The Solway Firth spaceman. In 1964, Jim Templeton took what he thought was just a sweet photo of his daughter, enjoying a quiet day near Solway Firth in England. But when the film was developed, a chilling figure appeared in the background. What looked like a spaceman in a white suit and helmet, standing just behind the little girl. Templeton insisted no one else was there. Even Kodak examined the photo and confirmed there was no tampering. Some experts later suggested it could have been his wife, accidentally caught in frame and overexposed. Still, the image took on a life of its own, sparking wild theories of alien encounters, time travelers, or interdimensional visitors. To this day, no one can say for certain what or who was in that photograph. The Island Moor Lighthouse Keepers. In December 1900, a supply ship arrived at the isolated Island Moor Lighthouse in Scotland's Flannan Isles, only to find it eerily deserted. The three lighthouse keepers, James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur, had vanished without a trace. Inside, everything seemed undisturbed, meals uneaten, beds untouched. The only clue was a logbook entry describing violent storms, though records show clear weather that day. Adding to the mystery, a haunting photo of Ducat's empty chair was taken shortly after. Were they swept away by a rogue wave? Victims of foul play? Or something stranger? Over a century later, no one knows, and the mystery still haunts the sea. The Fresno Nightcrawlers. First spotted on a 2005 home security video in Fresno, California, the Fresno Nightcrawlers quickly became one of the weirdest cryptid mysteries out there. These creatures appear to be nothing more than long, thin white legs. No torso, no arms, just eerily walking across a quiet lawn in the dead of night. The footage is short but unsettling, and a second, similar sighting later surfaced from Yosemite National Park. Are they hoaxes, alien life forms, spirits from native folklore, or something else entirely? The way they glide so smoothly and silently only deepens the mystery. Years later, no one has explained them, and people are still watching, wondering. The Nampa Figurine. In 1889, a routine well drilling operation in Nampa, Idaho turned into a mystery that still stumps scientists today. At a staggering depth of 320 feet, workers discovered a tiny clay figurine, clearly shaped by human hands. The figure, believed to represent a woman, became known as the Nampa figurine. But here's the mind-bending part. The layer of earth it came from dates back nearly 2 million years, long before modern humans were thought to exist. Some researchers believe it could point to a lost ancient civilization. Others argue it was somehow pushed down through the layers. Either way, this little figurine raises enormous questions about human history. Phantom Girl. A chilling set of early 20th century Russian photographs has captivated paranormal enthusiasts for years, all because of one haunting detail. In each image, a young girl appears in the background, always alone, always wearing the same clothes and hat, and always staring blankly ahead. The photos were taken at different places and times, yet she's somehow there, unchanged. She doesn't interact with anyone, and in some cases, her presence wasn't noticed until long after the pictures were developed. Was she a ghost inadvertently caught on camera? A forgotten orphan? Or something else entirely? Her identity remains unknown, and her eerie consistency has turned her into a legend. An unsettling mystery known only as the Phantom Girl. The Antikythera mechanism. Pulled from a shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera in 1900, this corroded lump of bronze turned out to be something astonishing. The Antikythera mechanism, often called the world's first analog computer. Dating back to the 2nd century BCE, it's a stunning example of ancient ingenuity. Packed with dozens of precision gears, it could track planetary movements, predict solar and lunar eclipses, and even model the cycles of the moon. For a device over 2,000 years old, its complexity rivals that of a 19th century clock. But despite decades of study, experts still haven't unlocked all of its secrets. How did ancient Greeks build something so advanced? And why did that knowledge disappear for centuries? The mystery continues. Geophone rock anomaly. In 1972, during the Apollo 17 mission, astronaut Eugene Cernan snapped a photograph that would quietly ignite decades of speculation. The image, now known as the geophone rock photo, shows curious pyramid-like shapes rising from the moon's surface. Are they just oddly lit hills? Or could they be something more? possible remnants of ancient alien structures? While some see nothing more than natural lunar geology casting strange shadows, others argue the angles and shapes appear too symmetrical to be coincidence. NASA has never publicly explained or investigated these features further, and no higher resolution images exist. The result? An enduring mystery tucked away in one of the last photos ever taken by humans on the moon. Do you think the truth behind these images will ever be revealed, or are some things meant to stay unexplained? The worst dead church ghost photo. In 1975, Diane and Peter Barlow visited the centuries-old Worst Dead Church in Norfolk, England, and took what would become one of the most chilling ghost photos ever captured. While photographing the quiet, empty pews, they saw nothing unusual until the film was developed. There, seated clearly in one of the pews, was a misty white figure resembling a robed woman. Locals quickly connected the image to the legend of the White Lady, a ghost said to haunt the 12th century church. The Barlows swore the church was empty, and even the vicar vouched for the photo's authenticity. Photography experts found no signs of double exposure or tampering. Skeptics point to possible reflections or camera glitches, but to many, this eerie figure is among the strongest visual cases for a real haunting. SS Watertown Faces. In 1925, the SS Watertown was sailing through the Panama Canal when something deeply unsettling occurred. 2 crewmen had recently died from gas exposure while cleaning a cargo tank. Days later, as the ship continued its journey, crew members were shocked to see ghostly faces in the waves, eerily resembling the lost sailors. One crewman, Keith Tracy, captured the moment in a haunting black-and-white photo that quickly spread across the nation. The Christian Science Monitor confirmed the image showed no signs of manipulation, lending it eerie credibility. While skeptics chalk it up to reflections or pareidolia, a trick of the mind, others are convinced it's something more. A ghostly farewell from the deep. The Ghost Pilot. In 1987, a woman known only as MS visited a quiet airfield in England and decided to snap a souvenir photo of herself sitting in a retired aircraft's cockpit. But when the film was developed, something eerie appeared. A man in the pilot's seat beside her, dressed in what looked like a World War II-era uniform, complete with a vintage flight cap and jacket. MS was adamant that no one else had been in the plane at the time. Paranormal investigators believe it could be the ghost of a wartime pilot who once flew that aircraft, refusing to leave his post. Skeptics suggest it might have been a museum staff member who slipped in unnoticed, but no one was accounted for that day. The identity of the ghost pilot remains unknown, leaving behind one of the most unsettling aviation mysteries ever caught on camera. Paintings and smartphones. Scattered across history are strange artistic and photographic moments that spark modern curiosity, especially when they seem to show technology far ahead of their time. One classic example, a centuries-old painting of a couple by a river, where one appears to be handing the other a dark, rectangular object that oddly resembles a smartphone. In another case, a vintage photo of a Native American shows him holding a device that looks uncannily like a GPS or touchscreen phone. While historians argue these are likely books, mirrors, or other everyday items, time travel theorists see something more. A hint that someone, or something, from the future may have crossed paths with the past. These puzzling images continue to stir debate, feeding fascination with time travel, lost technology, and the mysteries hiding in plain sight. The Chilean Creature. A grainy photograph taken deep in the forests of Chile has left viewers puzzled for years. In the image, 2 men on horseback pose calmly, but what draws attention is the strange, small figure beneath them. With an oversized head and thin limbs, the mysterious being appears almost alien in nature. Some believe it's proof of extraterrestrial life caught by chance. Skeptics, however, argue it's likely a toddler or small child walking by, and the angle simply distorts the scene. The low quality of the photo makes it hard to determine anything for sure. But whether it's a trick of perspective or something unearthly, the Chilean creature continues to spark curiosity and debate. The ghost of Freddie Jackson. In 1919, a group photo of Royal Air Force pilots was taken to commemorate their service. But what was captured shocked everyone. Behind one of the airmen, a faint but unmistakable face appears, that of Freddie Jackson, a mechanic who had died just 2 days earlier in a tragic airplane propeller accident. Yet there he was, seemingly blending into the group as if nothing had happened. Some believe Freddie didn't realize he had passed and simply showed up for the squadron photo out of habit. Skeptics argue it could have been a prank, a photographic glitch, or the result of double exposure. Still, no one has conclusively explained how Jackson's face ended up in the image. Over a century later, it remains one of the most compelling and debated ghost photographs in military history. The Black Knight Satellite. Floating high above Earth's atmosphere is an object that sparked decades of speculation. The mysterious Black Knight Satellite. Some believe it's not man-made at all, but an ancient alien probe that's been orbiting our planet for 13,000 years. The story traces back to 1899, when Nikola Tesla claimed he intercepted strange signals from space. Then, in 1954, both Peruvian astronomers and researchers at Grumman Aircraft Corporation reported unusual repeating transmissions. Later images from NASA missions showed a strange, dark object in orbit, fueling more theories. Is it a piece of space junk? A classified military satellite? Or proof we're not alone? Despite a lack of official confirmation, the Black Knight legend refuses to die. Which of these eerie photos gave you chills, or left you with more questions than answers? If you loved diving into these unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow truth seekers. Got a strange photo we missed? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to see it. Thanks for watching.